I want to chronicleize something with you. I want to go on a journey about what's happened over the last 5 days, 4 to 5 days, whatever it's been. On Thursday, I came out here and said, listen, I'm hearing things revolving around LSU where it seems like, number one, the real main theme of the night was, hey, man, I'm hearing from a lot of LSU people that they've got their shit together. I'm hearing that Verge Alsbury is doing some things behind the scenes and aligning some of the money that needs to take place to get one of, if maybe you believe Lane Kiffin is the best head coach in the country that is on the market at the current moment to be here. And then an entire Thursday show that we went live at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I said, listen, this feels good to me. This feels like LSU's going to start making a push for Lane Kiffin here. And during that time, we were in a place where you had a tweet coming from the Florida side of things saying, be by your phones on Sunday. Oh, the deal is done. I heard it's done. And a lot of football people around Florida saying, I'm hearing it's done. I'm hearing it's done. Well, then all of a sudden, this game gets played out on Saturday. Sunday comes, tweets start coming out saying, oh, maybe it doesn't look like a done deal. Well, no duh. Now, in the meantime, that same plane, by the way, that brought the Kiffin family here, it made a trip from Baton Rouge to Oxford the Friday before Ole Miss and Florida. And so I say to myself, the same plane that brought him here, was there a conversation with Jimmy Sexton and Lane Kiffin? So what we had talked about Thursday on the show was very simple. Guys, it's also being confirmed. On Saturday, during the postgame, when we talked about Lane Kiffin, I stated that, listen, the thing that I am hearing coming out of LSU right now, the number one thing is, number one, LSU is planning to make Lane Kiffin the highest paid head coach in the country. And number two, it seems as if that NIL is a very big deal here, that it's a massive deal for Lane Kiffin, more than his own salary, so that he can generate a roster that can go and win him a national title. We come into yesterday, and the Kiffin family, not Lane, is in Baton Rouge. And we all know what started surrounding and started happening yesterday. Them going to schools, plural. Schools, plural. They started going around town, looking at real estate, getting the vibe of Baton Rouge. I agree with Chris Marler, by the way, I saw on Twitter, works for 104.5 ESPN. I thought it was funny that Chris Marler stated, you should have brought them all to Superior Grill and got everybody a margarita. I agree with him. But we fast forward to today. And as we fast forward into today, we look at a situation of, hey, man, Blake Ruffino's just a podcast guy. Okay. Now the reports are coming out from Ross Dellinger, CBS Sports, that LSU plans to make Lane Kiffin the highest paid, or tied to be the highest paid head coach in the country, and that LSU is promising more NIL, around $30 million of NIL with TV revenue money and NIL promises that contractually it seems like everybody's trying to find a loophole here to get Lane Kiffin and the guarantee to signify to him, we're going to give you the money. That is what it has looked like from the LSU side of things, from what I told you on Thursday when everybody and people inside the LSU media beat said he was going to Florida. What it looked like on Saturday, even before they played a game. Guys, I'll just be blunt with you. On Friday, I heard that LSU, quite honestly, I don't know how else to say it, they dropped their nuts. And stated in the postgame that it feels to me that the real LSU just stood up. I don't think people realize right now, whether you get Lane Kiffin or you don't get Lane Kiffin, that part to me doesn't matter. But the real thing is, the thing that I think is the most real and the thing that I'm number one proud about, another thing that I just look at and say, let's go. Guys, in chaos, they got their shit together when they needed to. Because I promise you, a Monday ago, 8 days ago, you were getting the door slammed in your face. Because LSU's going for broke here. And you can say, well, man, I hope that even though we're going for broke, that we don't get egg on our face. And I'm with you. I don't want to go through a 2021 Lincoln Riley again. I don't want to go through a Tom Herman situation again, even though Ed Orgeron produced the best team of all time in the 2019 LSU football team. I get what you're saying. I don't want that. You've taken a lot of black eyes and a lot of PR damage over the last month. I get it. I'm right there with you. As much as I have this platform, I'm just a fan like you. I'm just a fan like you. But all of that needed to be chronicalized. All of that needed to come out and saying, hey, a lot of shit has happened. We're about to talk about what happened today with Lane Kiffin on Pat McAfee. A lot of stuff has happened. How do we chronicalize the order of what has happened around LSU? Well, I just told you. Here's what I'm going to tell you moving forward. Guys, as I said last night, and I'm going to say again, if you injected truth serum into my veins and you said, hey, now Blake Ruffino can't tell a lie. Don't do that anyway, but he's now for sure just going to say everything that's on his mind when we start asking him questions. This is what it would sound like. I think NIL is a massive deal to Lane Kiffin. Blake, why in the world would it be? Because I think that even in the best season in Ole Miss history, which that's what this is. That is what this is. The best season in Ole Miss's history. You have a coach looking not only at yourself, but at Florida and saying, yeah, but it needs to be taken a better look at. I have no idea if Lane Kiffin's going to stay at Ole Miss. I have no idea if he's going to go to LSU. I have no idea if he's going to go to Florida. I don't know. What I do know is it seems like the negotiations aren't really revolving around his own salary or staff salary, even though I do think LSU is going to give more money for staff than what Florida will. And I do think Florida's a little shy on Lane Kiffin's own salary, but things I hear, it doesn't seem as if that's a big deal to him. His staff and his players are a big deal. You look at the Pat McAfee interview today. Let me tell you what I got out of the Pat McAfee interview today. What I got out of the Pat McAfee interview today is simple. Because you can hate him. You can think he's a troll. You can think all of the things that you want to about Lane Kiffin. One thing that seems to continue to come up to me is that he does love his players. He does want to get them paid. He does want to build an elite roster. He wants to go win an Natty. You always look at situations and ask yourself, what is the motivation of a human being? What is the motivation of the human being of why they are doing some of the actions that they're currently doing? Like, I'll give an example. I use my kids in these analogies all the time. Like, I look at my son, Benjamin, and I say, why is he doing it that way? Why is Ben thinking the way that he's thinking? What is his motivation? Sometimes it needs to be corrected. And sometimes I'm like, I'm going to let everything go. I am going to let my son go do what he wants because he's going for it and he wants the ultimate goal. And what it seems like to me, the truth in all of this, is he trolling? Does he want to stay at Ole Miss? Is LSU the better job? His ex-wife is from Florida. None of that seems to be the top thing that it's on his mind, because every single time that it seems like that everything comes out, He doesn't make an action or he doesn't make a move because he knows he wants to go and get the ultimate title. He wants to wear the belt. He wants to be on top of the mountaintop. And I don't think he thinks that Ole Miss can get him there until they start promising things that they haven't. I watched the Pat McAfee interview today. I did. I watched it in its entirety. Was tweeting out during the Pat McAfee entire situation here. You were there. I was there. Hopefully your grandmammy was there. Everybody was there. And you got non-answers. But there were 3 questions that Pat McAfee should have asked. Number 1, why was your ex-wife, your sister-in-law, your kids, why were they in Baton Rouge? Did they want to go shopping at Lululemon? Why did you send an LSU plane? I know it's not LSU's overall play. It's MMR's, whatever. Why in the world were they in Baton Rouge? I get why Pat McAfee didn't ask those questions. Why was your family in Gainesville? Now, he can't – the reason Lane will not answer that question is because he can't deny it. He can't say that my family wasn't there. We have eyeball witnesses. We have pictures. They were there. At least we have it for LSU, even though my good buddy David Waters this morning took a little bit of a shot at it. It is what it is. But there was one question that Lane was asked in the big 3. So when you think about Lane Kiffin, what are the 3 big questions that come up in your mind? Yes, is he going to staying at Ole Miss? Is he going to LSU? Is he going to Florida? For me, the 3 big questions is, if I were to ask Lane Kiffin 3 questions, why did your family go to Florida? Because I would get the Florida side of things. Why did your family go to Baton Rouge? And then number, I guess, 2.5, what did they think about both? And then 3, is the ultimatum for Ole Miss true? Now, he said today that it's not true, and I got to be honest with you guys, I don't believe him. I trust Pete Nakos over at On3. I trust Mandel. I trust Ross Dellinger. I trust the national guys who are constantly in all of this saying an ultimatum was given to him. And he says, meaning Lane Kiffin, today on Pat McAfee, I haven't been given an ultimatum. Why? What is his motivation? His motivation to me is very simple here. He's putting Ole Miss's feet to the fire because I don't think he really truly does want to leave. I think he loves that place. I think you look at him as a troll and don't understand what his actions are doing. Hey, man, you say that you want to let me go? Sounds good. I'm going to go out on Pat McAfee, and I'm going to say you didn't give me an ultimatum. You didn't tell me what I did and do and don't need to do. You didn't do that to me, and it puts the pressure on Ole Miss. Well, Blake, how does it put the pressure on Ole Miss? As I have to fix my laptop here. How does that put the pressure on Ole Miss? Let me tell you, have you seen social media around their fan base and boosters since Lane came out there today and said that he was not given an ultimatum? Because let me give you a little news flash of how it went. They want Ole Miss and they want their AD, to give them an ultimatum for the future. They don't want him coaching in the playoff if he's going to go to Florida or if he's going to go to LSU. And you know who knew that? Lane Kiffin. You can't convince me without a shadow of a doubt that Lane Kiffin didn't know what his fan base and the reporters inside the fan base didn't say. He's constantly tweeting them. The local media, the local reports, some local fans that get really good shots of his players, he's always quote tweeting it. So now he's not on social media? Now he's not on social media. You mean to tell me that you think that any head coach in the country does not know the vibe around the program? Guys, that is a lie. Any coach player who says that they're blocking out the noise is lying. You know, Lane Kiffin said this past week on College Game Day. He said, listen, when I was a head coach, I would tell my players to block out the noise. I'm trying to give them direction, but guys, I heard the noise. I saw the noise, and he's not even on social media. He's not even on social media. He was asked in that same context, Did you ever talk to your players about ranking? He goes, why would I need to talk to them about ranking? They see it. I went at it in a different way. Lane Kiffin, in this example of what I'm trying to say, do you think that a guy that's constantly on social media doesn't understand the vibe surrounding Ole Miss? If you think that he doesn't, then I got Front Beach property in Iowa to sell you. It doesn't exist. So, the three things that I circle around this are simple for me. Number one, LSU's planning to make him the highest paid head coach in the country. And from the LSU side of things, Florida, for what it's worth, Florida people that I talk to are saying that they're going to match everything that LSU's doing, even though it seems like that's not true, based off of what national reporters are reporting. Not Blake Ruffino anymore. Now it's gone national. That they're going to pay him the most money. They're probably going to do the same to his staff. And right now they've given him the guarantee, which isn't contractual right now, even though I've heard that loopholes on both sides have been tried to be made here. They're trying to give him the most NIL, and right now LSU sits on top. And if he decides to go somewhere else, that's what he thinks about you. You got the big truck, you got the big house, you got the big house, you got the big truck, you got a massive bank behind you. And if he doesn't choose you, he doesn't choose you. That means he just wanted to be somewhere else. You've done everything that you can. I'm sure there's some other negotiating parts that you got to iron out, and that's fine. I have no idea what he's going to do. But guys, this started as we started this segment and started this episode. Guys, please go rewatch Thursday's show if you need to. You know why? Because I know what I said, and I'm suggesting that if you want to counteract it, go watch Thursday. You know how I know that you won't? Because 3 of you ran it to On3 and you posted it on the LSU board. Shout out to Brune and shout out to Shay and shout out to our good friend Bryce Coon. You posted it on there. They got their shit together. And they're swinging. There ain't no more rope-a-dope anymore. They're going full George Foreman. They're going for George Foreman. They're going for the knockout. They're going full Mike Tyson. Just don't bite the ear off, but they're going full Mike Tyson. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? I don't know. I really don't. If I knew, trust me, if I knew for a fact that Lane Kiffin was coming to LSU, me and you would be having a completely different conversation. We'd break the news. But I don't know. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All right.